And throughout the years, it's been a whole lot of reasons, you know what I'm saying, I run across as to why, you know, a lot of suggestions as to why, you know, the events that, you know, the horrors, you know, that transpired were, you know, why it happened and all that, you know, it's just, I mean, I believe the origins of things is spiritual, you know, I believe it's God, you know, it's good versus evil, it's God versus Satan. But, you know, I mean, it's a couple of things I'm going to cover in this segment here. But first of which I want to talk about, you know, first and foremost, you know, a couple years ago, you know, all throughout the years, man, I had this concept, you know, of that, you know, have like, you know, pursue more than one dream in the sense that, you know, don't limit yourself to no particular, you know what I'm saying, like pretty much just, you know, explore, you know, learn about life, you know, learn about different things, educate yourself, you know, on the right thing and all that, you know, and that was, you know, just pretty much something that I went by, you know, and I feel like, you know, because I mean, of course, things could be used to glorify God with, so, you know, God was the origin of that concept, I believe, you know, for my life. And one thing, you know, as far as the persecution concerned throughout the years was, you know, okay, knowing that concept there, you know, I used to talk all about when I was younger, talk about, you know, having more than one dream, you know, and wanting to explore and learn about different stuff. And, you know, I mean, just pretty much that concept of expanding growth, you know, as a person, you know what I'm saying, let alone a brand or entity, you know. And so one thing throughout, you know, years that you find significant, you know, like in these persecutory campaigns was that, you know, the persecutors, they always, like, they made it a thing, like, to keep me locked onto their reality. It's like they always wanted me focused on the framing, you know what I'm saying, campaigns and things that they had, or, you know, implemented me around. Like, they wanted me stuck and locked on their culture. That's why, like, anytime, you know, I had tons of interests, you know what I'm saying, like tons of different interests and things that have absolutely nothing to do with their culture, you know, what they do or anything like that, you know what I'm saying. And anytime, you know what I'm saying, I veered off and, you know, I put my focus on things that interest me, you know, like for instance, gardening. I'm gonna use a couple of, you know what I'm saying, examples real quick, and not just saying these are the only things, you know what I'm saying, that this has happened with. It's happened tons of times, but this is an example of the type of persecution. And see, that's how it's been. Like, you know, for instance, you know, I mean, I have a long-standing interest in, you know, crops, vegetations, and, you know, gardening and farming, and, you know, agriculture, things like that. And, you know, these persecutors, they created this frame around, you know, a certain type of art, you know what I'm saying, that they wanted to, like, bound me to, you know what I'm saying. It was a frame built on falsehood, lies, and everything, and they wanted me stuck, you know, like, in this frame or on this frame that they had concocted or fabricated, you know what I'm saying, for their own personal gain or intentions or whatever. But in my mind, you know, for one, I didn't even really know about it in depth in my early years, you know what I'm saying, and also is not really relevant, you know what I'm saying, to me as a man, I feel like, you know what I mean, because, like I said, I had interest in these other type of things, concepts, and realities, and anytime, you know what I'm saying, I can write about it, draw about it, create art about it, you know, exploring it and everything. And, you know, for instance, everybody, you know what I'm saying, like, I know, like for instance, I love, you know, that particular concept. When they see that I'm embracing the concept, then they destroy it. You know what I'm saying? They destroy it. Like, they do, like, they went above and beyond to keep, like, to make me focus on them. You know what I'm saying? They want me focused on them and their culture and what they do because of how they were trying to frame me with it. You get what I'm saying? That wasn't in no way, shape, or form bounded, you know, who I am as a person, brand, artist, entity, or nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they have been sabotaging my life to, like, kind of like railroad me, like keep me in the direction of their framing. You know what I'm saying? To keep me in the general neighborhood of their framing. You feel me? Like, and that's the way that they had always wanted to be, like, they wanted to attach me to their culture so they can use it to destroy me with. You know what I'm saying? When that culture, or even my embracement of art, you know what I'm saying, was not even that narrow-minded. You feel me? Like, I mean, even my embracement of art was far more expansive than whatever constructs they created to, like, bound me and lock me in, you know what I'm saying, per se, I mean, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's been the thing, I like machinery and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I started embracing that, then, they destroy it, you know what I'm saying? They start doing things in society as well as in my personal life. That's how serious it is. Like, it's some extreme, heavy, like outer worldly jealousy type stuff, you know what I'm saying? They'll poison the crops, and they'll destroy or detonate the machinery. You feel me? Like, that's the way it is. Like, I couldn't even embrace nothing, you know what I'm saying, that I love to do, or that I love that had nothing to do with them, because of what they, out their own minds, decided to create, plan, and conspire about. You know what I'm saying? They had, in my mind, I don't feel like that should have any kind of bearings on my reality, especially with the fact that it being widely disbanded and exposed. But that's an example of the type of thing it is. Like, they want me bounded to their reality so bad, you know what I'm saying, throughout the years, that they went above and beyond to make that so. You know what I'm saying? To sabotage, destroy parts of my life. They don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? And that brings me to, another thing, man. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? What really did society, you know what I'm saying, like, have the gain? Like, who, the persecutors or whoever, was involved in this massive campaign, whether they incorporated themselves into it later, or they was initially, precursors or, founders of this massive orchestrated demon campaign, that was against the works of God. I mean, like, what really did they have to gain? You know what I'm saying? All they did, what they saved their idea or perspective of, parts of society or art or something, quote unquote, saved it. But then what did they really gain? Because they killed the world. You know what I'm saying? They don't realize it. Like, the only thing that they really accomplished is they single-handedly prevented, you know what I'm saying, the restoration of God, in this country, in this land, you know what I'm saying? That's what they accomplished. So, if that's looked at as, a feat or accomplishment, then congratulations, you know what I'm saying? But, me personally, I don't feel like it's a good trade-off, you know what I'm saying? They saved what they felt like they were saving the world, saving concepts in reality from God, who created them in the first place. So it's crazy. So it's like, well, what really would anyone have to gain, man? They single-handedly, prevented for over 20 years, had a campaign preventing God's restoration, God's artistic restoration, and they single-handedly stopped, the restoration of God, for not just the society, but like for the world. God's ideas, plans, aesthetics was so much vastly, it was all for good though, man. So it's like, okay, if they stop that, then what direction is that set, society in now? You know what I'm saying? If you stop the restoration of society, then what's left for it to do? You know what I'm saying? Then they say, where we head next? Read the book of Revelation, you know what I'm saying? Because you will find they did exactly what God thought they would do, with his creation, you know what I mean? Once again, so that put us directly in the word, you know what I'm saying, right into the Revelations, fit in perfectly, like a puzzle piece, It's crazy. So, for instant gratification, pleasure, and things that's temporary and temporal, they sacrifice, stumped on God, at his expense, created empires, you know what I'm saying, or some kind of something, to raise up from, and ended up sabotaging and irreversibly, preventing the restoration of God for society and for the world. according, to his righteous plans, So, like, what does that lead society? So I couldn't live with that on my conscience, but those responsible for this utterly destroyed, they destroyed humanity officially. So, the only reality now that matters is the spiritual. That's the only thing they can cling to now. They single-handedly destroyed and prevented the purposes of God. And then that's when, some make you see how everything is good. All the worst already was dead, before certain utterances were made and all that. So, for over 20 years, man, they've been sabotaging, they've been, working, eating God's purposes alive, eat his child, and God witnessed it all the time, the whole time. And then the past 7 years alone, it's more than disturbing. It's perpetuation of whatever it was founded upon, whatever the evil campaign was founded upon in the first place. So it's like, what really had been accomplished, man? The destruction of God's purposes and the prevention of his restoration. I don't really see anything that was really gained. Because, what does that put society next? Like, if restoration was prevented, what's next for society? Or just generally like humanity? Read the Revelations. Your answer will be enough. Because humanity once again did exactly what God thought it would do. And it fit perfectly right into the Revelations. And that's right now, So you see it. For selfish ambition, or maybe a few or whatever, it ended up costing everything. Because of the amount of knowledge God had given and gave to, the world in advance. So there wouldn't be no mistakes later on. So it was no mistakes. And there was no excuse. And there's no apologies. Because they're not sorry. You know what I'm saying? So, anybody want to know next? Considering all those factors, read the Revelations, man. Read the Revelations. Book of Revelation in the Bible. That's the position that society put God in. And you sat there and witnessed it for over 20 years. Let alone the last 7 years, is enough in itself. The last 3 years is enough in itself. All of it a part of the same tree. It's a mess. But decision was made, man. And mammon and sin was chosen over God and restoration. Once again, you see. Once again.